I can start over again. I'm Bethany from Health and Fitness. I've been working at the gym here in Sandusky for over 4 years. I do group instructing, personal training, some nutrition, health coaching, mindset coaching, all that good stuff. Been in athletics pretty much my whole life, so healthy movement has always been a part of who I am and what I do. And so I like to work with people on a daily basis with that. I'm also general manager, and I got too many titles to name that's over there, but thank you for joining me today for our presentation. So to start off, how many of you feel like you don't have enough time to exercise? Just raise up a hand if you feel like you don't have the time. Anybody? No, you all have time to exercise?
We all have time.
Cool, all right. First one done then. So yeah, so a lot of people that think they don't have enough time to exercise, but you guys all do, so that's good. Then we're gonna tackle any other certifications that we might have with that. I do have some of my certifications and stuff up there. Obviously, I have to be certified to teach people and train people in a safe way, in a healthy way. But the goals of today, it's recognizing daily movement, what can be seen as daily movement. You're understanding the benefits of exercise, consequences of inactivity, and then empowering simple ways that you can move more and get more movement in your daily life. What's BioLane? BioLane, so that's the name of the company from, so Dr. Lane Norton, he's a PhD in nutritional sciences.
I thought it was something with nutrition.
Okay, so as a little icebreaker, how do you move in today? So how much energy do you have right now? Like scale of 1 to 10. You can call it out or show on your fingers. 2, 5, 3, something like 10. All right, 10 out of 10. Yeah. Yeah, and then if you're on Zoom, drop your number in the chat, 1 through 10, just your energy, or you can do an emoji for your energy scale. All right, so hopefully those numbers don't go down during the presentation. All right, so benefits of moving more. There's lots of physical benefits. Obviously, you're gonna have more energy and less fatigue. So just 20 minutes of low intensity exercise can help reduce your fatigue by 65%, which is quite a lot. You're gonna get stronger bones and muscles. So the strength training, just like twice a week, reduces your osteoporosis risk by 40%, which is huge, especially for women and as we're aging, right? So you gotta make sure you keep everything strong and healthy so you can stay independent and do all the stuff that you want to do. You're gonna have heart health, so you're gonna have, if you do 20 minutes of walking, you reduce your heart risk by 30%, and then you get a boosted immune system, which is especially important, especially that flu season that we just had. Everything was going around, but you can have 43% fewer sick days when you regularly exercise, which is really huge. So it's obviously a lot more about just burning calories, right? There's mental and emotional benefits as well. 5 minutes of aerobic exercise, it helps to reduce anxiety. So just a 5-minute bout, you can help relieve some anxiety if you get some stress. It helps to improve your focus, your productivity, creativity as well. So walking actually boosts your creativity by 60%. So even just a short walk can help boost with that. And then you're gonna sleep better because obviously you're getting some movement in, you're burning some energy. 75% improvement in sleep when you regularly move throughout the day. So do you have any trouble sleeping? Anybody here? Couple people? Okay, yeah. No, you're out like a light, no problem? All right. All right, even more benefits. Longevity, right? You're gonna be adding years to your life, which is huge because time goes by fast. And so you're gonna increase your lifespan. People who exercise regularly, they on average live 7 years longer. It's like, what would you wanna do with those extra 7 years? You know, how much more time would you wanna spend with your grandkids, children, pets, go see different things, travel? That's 7 years is a long time. And you can also reduce the risk of some chronic diseases. So obviously, leading cause of death is heart disease, diabetes is also up there, cancer. That helps to reduce your risk by 30 to 50% just by that regular exercise. It also helps to preserve your brain function. That's a huge one. Now, doing 150 minutes, that's the recommended amount of exercise per week or movement, you're gonna have a decrease by 35% of dementia risk. And that's from the Alzheimer's Association. And helps to boost the mitochondria, is the little powerhouse of the cell. If everybody remembers from high school biology, mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, that's where you get the energy from. Regular movement helps keep those cells younger and more efficient.
So that 150 minutes, should it be spread out over the 7 days, or can we do it like in 5 days and relax on the other 2 days, or
Yeah.
what are they saying, that you need to do it 7 days or 5 days or 4 days?
Yeah, I mean, it's just 150 accumulated over the whole week. Now, if you do it all in one day and then you do nothing the rest of the time, it might not be as good. But yeah, if you did something where you did 30 minutes, 5 days a week, then that's perfectly fine. Like 30 minutes of just walking, 5 days a week, that gets you to your 150 minutes of that activity. Good question. So quick poll, quick question. Guess how much just 10 extra minutes of walking a day can add to your life? So we have a few options here. There's 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. Let's guess. You said 1? You're gonna go 3? 3? Okay. 2 is the answer for that one. Yeah. Yes.
My fault.
There we go. Okay, so this is a lovely image I found. It's Fountain of Youth. It's not something mystical or magical or something that you can buy, not a pill you can buy, but if you're living a physically active life, you're gonna have way more muscle mass. So this shows, it's an MRI of the thigh of a 40-year-old triathlete and a 70-year-old triathlete. So triathlete means they do biking, running, swimming, versus a 74-year-old sedentary. And so you can see that's all the fat tissue, and that's the muscle tissue. And then this is the muscle of a 7-year-old athlete. So they were able to maintain pretty much all of their muscle from the years 40 all the way up to 70. So that's just a huge visual component of it, just seeing how much more strength and even bone density you can maintain. You can tell the bones here a little bit, it's a little bit weaker.
Hey,
All right,
Bethany, can you hand me that stand?
this,
Yeah, thanks.
there you go.
Thank you.
All right, so on the flip side, what happens if you're not being active, right? So we talked about the benefits, but there's a lot of physical risks that you have when not being as active. So you're gonna have slower metabolism and weight gain. So if you sit 8+ hours a day, it increases the risk for obesity by 60%. Obviously, if we're keeping our bodies moving, we're burning calories using the food that we eat as fuel rather than storing it. That's just pretty much thermodynamics right there. That's going back to, that's not what we're talking about today, but that's a big part of it. Higher disease risk. So physical inactivity is the 4th leading cause of death worldwide. So getting moving is huge. Again, like I said, with all the different benefits and what it can prevent, it really makes a big difference. So there's also mental and emotional risks. You can have higher stress and fatigue from not getting that movement in. So obviously you have the benefits from that exercise, those health benefits, the dementia risk reduction, all of that kind of gets flipped around. You get increased risk of all that. So if you sit for 10 or more hours a day, it increases the dementia risk by 25%. Instead of reducing it by 35, it increases by 25. And some more things. All right. A big thing is that the biggest risk for premature death is a sedentary lifestyle. So, shocking truth, the sitting disease, it's a higher mortality risk. So if you are sitting for more than 8 hours a day, you increase the risk of an early death by 40%. That's not good. So interestingly, that's the same amount as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So yes, we all know smoking is not good for us and does not help our lifespan at all. Same risk factors if you're sitting for 8+ hours as if you smoke 15 cigarettes a day. Yeah, that's motivating right there.
Yeah.
It also doubles the risk of your cardiovascular disease. Even if you have a healthy diet, if you're not moving, it still doubles your risk of heart disease. It's also linked to early dementia. So like we were talking about earlier, that sedentary lifestyle increases the risk for dementia by 30%. And then it cuts your life expectancy by years. So again, there's that statistic with the 15 cigarettes a day. And so instead of adding 7 years to your life, you could be cutting years off your life. And then a few other little statistics here. The physical activity, with it being the 4th leading risk for death worldwide, it's also responsible for 6% of global deaths. So obviously it doesn't seem, compared to like heart disease, things like that, it's not as big of a portion, but inactivity leads to the heart disease. Inactivity leads, it's the precursor to heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and even some Alzheimer's dementia as well. That's being seen more and more as a metabolic disease rather than just a brain disease. And so that movement can really help to combat that. Okay, so quick posture check. Check your posture. Are you feeling you're slouching over? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just bring your shoulders up, back, squeeze your shoulders, and then just kind of see how that makes you feel. If it feels you a little bit better, move around a little bit. All right. So the good news, small consistent habits can reverse any of those effects. Now to get into the best exercise. It's the one you actually do. So like you asked, 150 minutes, right? It's like, hey, whatever you like, do more of that. Everybody is always asking, oh, should I do HIIT? Should I do steady state cardio? Should I do the incline treadmill? Should I do the elliptical? Should I bike? Are squats better than lunges? What's the best ab exercise? How do I lose the love handles? All those different types of questions. And that's, in my opinion, not the right question to be asking. The biggest thing is that most people don't move enough anyways. So all that other stuff doesn't really matter until we get to that point of 150 minutes of movement. So what we are supposed to be doing, according to the CDC, the WHO, is that 150 minutes of moderate activity, or if you want to go hard, it's 75 minutes of vigorous activity. So getting that heart rate up really high. The moderate activity is walking at a brisk pace, and then some other exercises that I'll lay out too. And then also they've added it's 2 or more days of strength training per week. Now, strength training doesn't necessarily mean you want to go to the gym, be a bodybuilder, and I'll outline some different things that you can do for that. But the strength training, it's helping to build and maintain that muscle mass. So just like that picture that I showed with the muscle mass of the athlete versus the non-athlete, that's what those 2 days are helping to maintain your strength, maintain your bone density, and maintain your ability to just do everyday life stuff. So what actually happens? What's recommended versus what's actually the reality of it? Only 23% of US adults meet both of those standards and both of those strength guidelines as well. Nearly 50% of adults get
Cheryl,
zero
call 323. Cheryl, call 323.
Zero structured exercise. So one out of every 2 people get zero structured exercise. It's like, ooh, that's not good. No wonder we have so many health problems, right? Mm-hmm. And the average adult sits for 6.5 or more hours a day. So we're not quite at that 8 hour yet, which is where we get into those really bad health risks. But unfortunately, our lifestyles make it hard. It's very convenient. We're sitting a lot, we're riding in transportation, public transportation, or in your own car, or sitting in front of TVs, sitting at work. Our modern environment's not really set up for us to be moving. Take it back 100 years ago when you had to make everything by hand and you had to get out, you had to do all this stuff by hand. We're getting a lot more movement in. And so that's why there's so much of a difference. overall, the moral of the story is just move more. So everyday movements, which I'm sure all of you have done at least one of these that's up here, are exercise. So this picture, I like it because it shows how the strength training from the gym can translate to your everyday life. So, you know, this guy picking up this
Did you
kid.
get anything on?
Yeah, there's a little orange right
Oh, is
there.
there? Oh.
Just a little onesie. Yeah, it might just be hard to see from there. Yeah, but
Kind of worried.
no, don't worry, I don't put anything weird up there. All right, so the big thing is you're actually already working out and doing exercises, but you might not realize it. So a really common thing in everyday life is carrying groceries, right? So you're carrying groceries, you load up both hands and you're walking in, right? So that's a farmer's carry, which is what we do in the gym. You just hold a dumbbell or kettlebells, weight in each hand, and you're carrying it down and back, right? And then you just try to get heavier and heavier as you go to progress. Well, you're doing that when you're carrying groceries into the house. My challenge is, can I get it all in one arm and then I can still open the door? That's my goal, right? That's why I work out. Another one, deadlifting. So picking up a laundry basket. So anytime you're picking up something from the ground, right? You're keeping your back flat, using your legs, bending, push them into legs, right? Just like, don't use the back while you're lifting. That's a key rule whenever you're lifting something heavy, right? So picking up a laundry basket, easy. Lunges, that helps you walking upstairs, kneeling to clean, like kneeling down to tie your shoe, right? That's a lunge. I just put my knee on the ground and I gotta stand back up, right? It's if we don't do it a lot, if we don't get down onto the ground and get back up, it gets harder and harder to do. And the clean and press, right? So that is taking something from the ground, putting it up on the top shelf. So clean, you take it from the ground, here, and up. We do that same movement in the gym, Amanda will tell you. We do that, I think you just did that the other night, right?
Yes.
Yep, just did that the other day. And you go from the ground to your shoulder overhead. Step ups, right? Climbing stairs instead of using the elevator, right? So you're stepping up onto something. So you have a platform, stepping up. We do those with boxes in the gym, but you can do those with stairs at home or just taking the stairs when you go somewhere instead of the elevator. Unless you're carrying, well, if you're carrying a suitcase, then you get a suitcase carry and the stairs in. That'd be even harder. But in general, so for Harvard Medical School, these daily functional movements help improve strength and reduce your injury risk by 40%. So there's obviously lots of you might maybe know somebody who had fallen and broken a hip. You know, I've got lots of relatives where, yeah, okay, they're living at home, they're doing great, all of a sudden they fall, can't catch themselves, break their hip. And then they're out of commission. It's like, ooh, that's usually not great for their health long term, right? So by doing these types of movements, the step ups, the lunges, the deadlifts, and obviously starting where you're at, you can help to prevent those types of things from happening. One, by having the muscle mass to catch yourself when you go to trip, right? If you trip on something, you can stop yourself. You also have more bone density. So if you did fall, the less likelihood that it's actually going to break your hip. So some fun ways to move more. The biggest thing, right? Exercise doesn't have to be a workout. It can be something that's fun, something you enjoy. That's actually the biggest goal of it, is that if you find something that you enjoy to do, that's movement, you're twice as more likely to actually stick with it in the long term. Like if you came in and I put you through a workout and you hated every single second of it, you're not coming back. Like, yeah, it might not be your favorite, absolute favorite thing to do or as fun as sitting on the couch and chilling, but you know, if you enjoy it or at least enjoy parts of it, you'd be way more likely to keep coming to it, right? So some different fun movements you can try. Dancing, right? I mean, there's a, I'm not really sure where you go around here to do some dancing. There's not really dance halls anymore, but you can dance around in your kitchen, dance with a significant other or grandkids or with a pet. I don't know, you pick up your dog and dance with your dog. That works. Going hiking, that one's huge. So exploring some new trails. We have like the petroglyphs out there. We have the walking trails here in Sandusky. I mean, that's not really a new trail, but you know, you can just, even just walking around the back roads, finding some other different trails you can go to and explore. That's huge, just to keep it interesting. Pickleball is a really popular one right now. Pickleball, or even things like table tennis, right? So you got the ping pong, you're moving around, you're playing, right? That's still getting movement in. Playing with your kids or pets, there you go, just being active, having fun. It's like, I like that picture of them, they're playing frisbee with the dog and the kids in there. They just look so happy. You gotta put it up there, right? Some new things, virtual reality fitness games, or like the Wii, you know the Wii Fit, right? But you know, that got moved into sitting on the couch and throwing the bowling ball, right? You gotta actually get up and pretend like you're actually at the bowling alley. Or you could go to the bowling alley in town. There you go. Support local businesses. Go and do that. That keeps you active a little bit. And then rock climbing. That one's a little adventurous, but just some other fun things that you can do.
Is there a place to play pickleball?
So there is. And then I've actually, up at the high school, the tennis courts, they do have lines that I measured it out and it should be fine for pickleball. So I have played up there, just took my own paddle and stuff like that. So that's fun. So you just just hit that back and forth and run around a little bit. So what if we stopped thinking of exercise as a chore, but something that we actually enjoy and that we want to do? And so this is where it comes into the mindset part of it. So seeing exercise like, oh, it's just losing weight, or it's just building muscles, being a bodybuilder, right? It's way more than that, obviously, from all the different risks and benefits. And the biggest thing to reframe is saying, I can move in ways that fit my life, and that I choose movements that feel good for me. What feels good for me and what I can do is gonna be different than what you all can do, right? That's gonna be way different.
Right.
So having that mindset of what can I do, not looking at what I'm doing, what Bethany's doing over here, look at what can I do and how can this fit my life. And so instead of saying, I don't have time for exercise, which none of you did, you say, I can move in ways that fit my life. So finding 5 minutes to go for a walk here, doing stretches here for 3 to 5 minutes, something like that, just to add up that exercise over time.
And 5 minutes isn't anything because commercials now are 8 minutes long.
Exactly. So instead of sitting there watching the commercials, you do some exercises. There you go. There's an idea right there. You can get your 30 minutes done, no problem, right? You get so many commercials in a break. Doing 2-minute movement breaks, just 2 minutes every hour, can help reduce your health risks and improve your metabolism. So if anybody has an Apple Watch or a Garmin or a Fitbit or anything like that, I get reminders. If I didn't stand that hour for at least a minute, it tells me, hey, you better get up and do something. And so that's a very nice reminder of, hey, you gotta get up and move a little bit. So that's helpful if you have one of those tools. If not, you can just remind yourself each hour. Another thing is like what
I
exercise.
carry my phone in my pocket.
Your phone?
I've got my daughters, when I come home from my daughters, it gets angry with me because I'm not doing enough stairs.
Oh. Is that like an app that you use or just a phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the phone, yeah.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. Another mindset shift to think about, people will say, oh, exercise is too hard, or I can't do that, or I can't do this. And instead, that saying of I choose movement that feels good for me, right? Focusing on what you're able to do. And then if you enjoy that workout, you're gonna stick with it in the long term. If you feel like you're capable in doing it, you're able to do it, you're gonna do it more. But if you feel like you can't do it and like the exercise is too hard, you're less likely to stick with it, right? So here's a little mini everywhere workout. So we can test this out right now if you all are done eating. So chair squats. It's just standing up and sitting down from a chair and grab a chair all the way. So even just 3 minutes of light movement per hour can counteract the effects of that prolonged sitting. So the effects of the sitting, obviously, same as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So since we've been here for at least an hour now, well, maybe not quite an hour, we're gonna do 5 chair squats, if you got some room, maybe. So we're just here, maybe we'll just move the tables out a little bit. Basically just standing up and sitting down 5 times. Pretty
literally
easy,
sit.
yep, so just sit down, stand up. Try not to, if you can, keep your arms out to the side, just like that, 5 times. Yeah, okay, so I need to do your 5, all right. We're not gonna do the push-ups today in here, but I can show you really quick, just using a wall, like use a desk or a countertop. But if you just use the wall, then you go like this and you just get a push-up here, right? Just working your arms. It's pretty easy, there's walls everywhere,
Is
right?
that where your feet are supposed to be?
Yep, so they can just be a little bit apart on your toes. Just
When I
kinda
do it,
rock
I
forward.
have one leg back and one leg, I mean, they're both flat.
Okay, so you're more stagger stance like
Yes.
this. That's okay too, if that feels a little bit more comfortable for you. Generally, we just recommend this position here.
Alright,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
Yeah, you can do 5 of those, marching in place, 10 reps, right, so this here, marching up, high knees like that, or you can even do it seated, right, if you can't move, it's just like, alright, lift that leg up, so if you're typing at your desk, do that at least once per hour. And then calf raises, you can do these sitting too, so everybody can do this, you're just gonna lift your heels up and down, you can squeeze those calf muscles here, just lift your heels up, go up on your toes, do that 10 times. And then if that's not too bad, then you just stand up and you can do it, just standing like that. So you're just getting the blood moving in your legs. And then seated twists, 5 each side. I think everybody has room for this, but you just sit kind of forward on your chair, and then twist side to side, 5 times each side. Kind of help stretch out your back a little bit. Yeah, it'll crack, might crack a little bit, yeah. Some of those. Okay, does everybody feel a little bit more loose and limber?
Sure, yeah.
You sure? Alright, so wait now. But yeah, just as easy as that, you know, it took 2-3 minutes. That'll just help to break up those long periods of sitting, so even just doing something like that in an hour, even if you're like sitting in a car for a long time, right? You know, I'm over there and I'm moving my legs as much as I can and kind of moving around, right? So that way you don't get out and you're all stiff and all that. Just doesn't feel good. Then you gotta take 10 minutes just to stretch out after you get out of the car. All right, some other creative ways that you can move more, pairing movements with daily activities. It says squats while brushing your teeth. I don't know anybody that wakes up out of bed and is ready to do some squats. But what you could do is as you're waiting, you say you're cooking something, cooking dinner, cooking lunch, something like that, you know, you could do some of those countertop push-ups, even just like 10 of those, right? Or watching TV, commercial comes on, right? If you know, if you're watching TV or ad pops up, even if it's just a 2-minute ad that you're watching on Hulu, you can just do some squats. You can stand up from the chair, sit down, you can do some twists, you can get up and walk around a little bit, you know? You can move more at work. So standing up regularly, trying walking meetings or standing desks. There's great little walking pads you can get. I have one in my house. I just slide it right underneath the couch. You can get them on Amazon. They're just like a mini treadmill, essentially. So if you have a desk, you could walk and do it at the same time. I'm not that talented to type and walk on the treadmill at the same time, but some people are, and they're great at it. And then just the power of identity is adopting the mindset of being somebody who moves daily. So if you think of yourself as like, oh no, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm not gonna do anything. If you start to think of yourself, what would somebody that's active and healthy do? Like, what would that type of person do on a daily basis? What's their habits look like, right? And how can I be that version? It's like that saying, you know, what would Jesus do for all the Christians, right? They say, okay, what would Jesus do in this situation? What would the healthy version of me do in this situation? What would an active person do? Would they take the stairs or would they take the escalator? It's like, would they sit here during the commercial? Would they get up and move around? So I'm gonna take a little time to do a group brainstorm for your own movement plan. So the biggest challenge, move more challenge, is just to create a plan to reinforce these new habits. So like I said, using a fitness watch, if you have one of those, or a phone, great. If you can set reminders for you to move every hour, you know, 2 to 3 minutes. writing down 5 reasons why moving more is important to you and posting it somewhere that you can see daily. So that's a big one. That helps with that identity shift. It's like, why is it important for you to move more? Is it living an extra 7 years longer? Is it reducing your risk for heart disease, dementia, osteoporosis, on and on and on, all those things? And then finding an activity that's fun and that you'll look forward to doing, whether that is you're hiking, it's biking, just walking around, maybe it's dancing, playing pickleball somewhere. And then another tip is doing it with a friend, family member, coworker, person you meet on the internet, I don't know, whatever you can find to help support you and keep you accountable, to stay safe from somebody on the internet. Meet somewhere public first. But it helps to have somebody there because they're expecting you. I had a client, I don't know if anybody was here when she was talking about it, that she comes to the gym because I'm expecting her to be there, right? And that's why I do what I do. I help be that accountability for people, right? And so there's a lot of people I know, they have gym buddies. If somebody doesn't show up to the workout, they can be like, hey, where were you at the gym today? Right? And then it keeps them, oh man, yeah, I should have gone, right? So it keeps you motivated to keep sticking with it, even on the days you don't really feel like it. Because there's days where you're like, nah, I don't feel, I have days where I'm like, I don't feel like doing it today, but I know that it's good for me and that people are gonna be like, why didn't you work out today, right? And so your challenge, I want you to commit to 1 new movement habit starting today. So even if that's just, hey, I'm gonna take a 5-minute walk each day, right? Yeah, that's not that 150 minutes yet, but that's, yeah. You always say, yeah, it's not that I can't do it, it's just, you're not doing it yet, but you can. You can build there, right? You start with 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you can do, that little bit, you get that going, okay, you got the habit going, okay, now you're gonna start doing 6 minutes. And you do 8, and then it's like, okay, you start building from there, and then eventually you get to that ideal, okay, we're at that 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Okay, so as a part of this, we do have some exclusive offers for everybody on Zoom and everybody that's attending. So we have some different programs through the gym that are available for you. We have a 6-week summer sculpt program that's coming up. We have in-gym version, at-home version in the gym. And then we also have a 12-week beginner gym program. So for anybody who's new to the gym, kind of intimidated by it, maybe don't want to do any sort of classes
How
or
many
challenge.
days out of those?
What's that?
How many days per 6 weeks? I mean, is that 4 days a week, 3
Yeah.
days a week?
So
Oh, okay.
here's my details.
Oh,
You're ahead of the group, all right. But yes, so the 6-week, the summer sculpt, the in-gym one, that one we do with classes. So you're gonna get at least 6 days a week, or at least 3 days a week of classes, right? So we have an instructor there leading you through everything, making sure that you're doing everything right. You don't have to think about anything, you just kind of come in and follow along. But 3 is the minimum. You do get unlimited group training. So you can come in as much as you want. You also get all the gym access, get as much as that as you want. So you can, if you want to come in 7 days a week, you can have at it. We just recommend starting off with 3 days at first. And then we also have obviously the scans, helps measure your muscle mass, your body fat, all that kind of stuff, habit trackers, all that. Same thing for the 6-week summer sculpt at home in-gym version. We give you a workout plan to follow along with, which we can set up, different programs based on where you're at, what your goals are, how many days you want to work out, all that kind of stuff. And then there's the 12-week beginner program. It's a 3-month gym access membership. You get a free 12-week workout plan with that and a free personal training session included to show you what to do and make sure that you know what you're doing when you come in the gym, make you more comfortable. And then the 2 free body scans with that one too. So those are specific ones there, just to break that down. We are going to give away a free summer sculpt program. So for any of you attending, there's this QR code, so you take your phone and you can scan that. You're entered to win a free program. There's It's like, hey, you get to do it, try it out for free, the 6 weeks, you get the unlimited training, all of that great stuff. And then you can also access the other deals that I mentioned with the programs and things like that. So there's that. Anybody, well, go ahead and grab out your phone and then scan that. Let me keep that up there for a little bit. And then we email the winner. If you don't have your phone with you,
Or you don't
just
know how to
leave-
do it.
or you don't want to do it, that's fine.
I'll help you after.
Yeah, don't know how to, that's fine. So yeah, we can just take your email and we can email it to you as well.
Said for a challenge to start off slow. How soon do we go with the next, level, like 10 minutes of walk a day?
Okay, yeah, exactly. So you want to start with something that's very doable, but it's sort of challenging, right? You don't want it to be too easy, you don't want it to be too hard. So it's something that it pushes you a little bit. Say 10 minutes is like, okay, yeah, my heart rate's getting up there, I'm starting to get tired. Stop then, stop at 10 minutes. After you do that for a while, your body gets used to it. Your body's great at adapting to things. And so eventually that 10 minutes is gonna, well, this doesn't feel too bad, right? So it's like, okay, let me go for 12 minutes. And if 12 minutes is still not too bad, then you go for 15. It's like, okay, now you can feel my heart rate getting up again. I'm starting to get a little more tired. 15 minutes is your new challenge point, right? So you just keep building that challenge point. Your body keeps adapting to wherever you're at. So if at first 10 minutes was hard, then you go up to 15. Same thing with weights, right? You might start with 3-pound weights or 5-pound weights and you're doing curls or presses, right? That might be hard for a little while. And then eventually it's like, oh yeah, this is no problem now, right? So then that's when you start, okay, we're gonna try 8-pound weights. And then that's back to getting hard again. If you just stayed at the same level the whole time, then it's just gonna get easy one day and then it won't progress. So that's a
But
good
that'll
question.
keep you toned, though, won't it?
No, so tone is actually the basis of tone. It's more of a describing term, right? So it describes somebody who's like lean and muscular, but not like huge bodybuilder, right? And so a lot of people have that conception that doing very light weights for a lot of reps gets you toned. But tone is actually just seeing your muscle at a lower body fat percentage. So if you have a little bit more muscle and a little less body fat percentage, you're gonna be more toned. But you can't technically tone a muscle. You can grow or shrink a muscle, but you can't tone it. Does that make sense? Not too sure about that one?
Well, that's it. I've never heard it described like that before.
Oh, okay.
So I think
Oh, that's good. Yeah. But yes, there's technically no toning, or like you see the thigh masters and all that, and it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna tone your thighs with doing that. That's not necessarily how the body works. It's, you can grow muscles, you can shrink them, but the actual muscle itself, you can get it stronger, but you're not actually toning it. It just doesn't, you don't turn mush into muscles, like Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say, right? You can't turn fat into muscle. Fat's fat, muscle's muscle, right? You can't turn an apple into an orange. It's two different things. So now, we also have free exercise and workout guides. So I've got an at-home, no equipment workout, and then an exercise snack guide. So exercise snacks is throwing those 3-minute movements in throughout your day to get moving. Again, if you don't have the ability to, or the QR code, I can send it, just an email link. We can collect your email, we can send it to you there. And then also a 15-minute, either, probably at home, or you can do it at the gym too, but it's designed for anywhere. 15 minutes, slight resistance training workout. So you could use bands, dumbbells, kettlebells, you could use sacks of potatoes, a gallon of milk, whatever you have around there as weight or resistance, then that workout is designed for that, with very beginner friendly version and then a little bit more of a challenging version. And then there's also links in there for some exercise video demonstrations as well. So if you don't know what something is, There's lots of demo videos that pops up right to a YouTube link that you can watch and see exactly how you should do all that. And so it makes it very easy.
Is that the same code as the one you had up before?
No, it's a different one.
This one's different.
This one's different, but if you don't wanna scan this one, then we'll send it to you in an email too, but.
They all look the same.
They do all look the same, yeah. Okay, so any questions come up throughout that? I know there's a few popped up here and there, but any other questions that you guys can think of right now? If you're on Zoom, you can drop them in the chat and then I can answer any of those too. Everybody answered all their questions?
You had a lot of information.
That was my goal. I was like, I don't wanna have too much, not just the right.
I don't know.
Okay, good. What's one thing that you're gonna take away? Or like, what was the biggest thing that you learned?
Move.
Move, yes, bottom line, move, just move more. That's, yeah, just start moving, move more, do something that you like and that you're going to want to do. That's the biggest thing. If you don't,
Yep, how do you motivate somebody that kind of likes to do it, but just doesn't feel like they wanna get up and go do it in the morning?
in the morning, do you feel like you wanna go do it more in the
No,
afternoon?
it's not me, it's somebody else. It's
Oh,
like, how do
somebody.
you motivate someone that, they don't mind doing it, but they just don't have self-motivation? Maybe that's what it is.
Okay, so how do you get that
person to
self-motivation?
self-motivation?
Yeah, okay, so the first thing I would say, one of the things that I talked about was the 5 reasons why. So I was like, write down 5 reasons why you want to move more, why you wanna be healthier. And then if that person, if their reason for doing it isn't strong enough, that's where the motivation comes from. Because if you have a reason of like, hey, I'm doing this because I've seen my family members go through and battle cancer, heart disease, stroke, all these different things that could have been prevented by moving, being healthier, that's a motivator for me. Because it's like, hey, on the days I don't wanna do it, my body can still do it, right? I have the ability to do it and I wanna prevent any of that from happening to me in the future. And so having that strong why, that underlying reason to do it is huge. Another one is making it easy and accessible. Because if they're like, okay, well, I should go do this, and also saying should instead of I want to go do this or I can go do this is different. Making sure that it's easy and accessible. So if it's, oh, I gotta walk down to the basement and then I gotta set everything up and I gotta move the clothes away because, you know, clothes are sitting on the treadmill. There's a lot of barriers to that. So if there's a barrier to it, then that's hard. And then another way you can do is stacking something that you enjoy with it. So if that person's like, yeah, it's hard to do this in the morning, you know, maybe while you're making your coffee, while you're waiting for that to brew, you go down, do a 5-10 minute quick exercise, come back up and have your coffee. And so in that way you have that reward afterwards, something to look forward to afterwards. Or you know, you can put the TV on as you're doing your little workout, right? So then you just got something there to entertain you. So that's another way to make that a little bit more enticing to motivate you to do it. Questions? Any other questions? Yes.
So, I have no problem getting out and moving in the summertime,
Yes.
springtime. I love to garden, I love to walk, I love to do all
Yep.
the outside things. So winter time comes and, I work all day, and so then you
Yeah.
get home and it's dark and you know, it's not a ton of time to move. And I don't wanna move outside, but I
It's
also
cold
don't
and
wanna
dark.
move in my tiny house. And, working on an exercise video is like terrible to me, and so,
Okay.
you know, that's, I think where I struggle a lot is the winter time.
You need to find a fun video.
Yeah, so a lot of people have that same struggle of, yeah, in the wintertime and it's dark. When it's dark out, you get tired, you're just like, oh, I don't feel like doing that too much. And so that's where a lot of people do like to stack, okay, right when you get out of work, you go somewhere, you go to the gym or you go somewhere else, but if you don't have the ability to go from work to the gym, then there's obviously in the morning, if it's getting up a little bit earlier while you still have energy before you start the day. That's honestly what I recommend, because by the time you get to the end of the day, you're tired, you're like, oh, it's been a long day at work. Getting up and doing it a little bit beforehand can help as well, or even just in between, right? So are you able to leave your desk for a little lunch break or anything? Yeah, so if you have like a 30-minute lunch break, yeah, how long does it take you to eat your food? Like 15 minutes?
Yeah.
So if you took like a quick 10-minute walk around or did some like squats and push-ups, 10 minutes of a workout, still a workout. Like 10 minutes if you go working at, yep, I mean, I'll tell you, it's like
25 seconds,
right, 25 seconds, that's what I do in my classes, so we do a timer of 25 seconds work, 25 seconds rest, do the exercise for 25 seconds as much as you can do, you rest for 25, you do that for, 4 times, and then you do another exercise, right, and you keep going. Next thing you know, 10 minutes is up, and you got a good amount of movement in, right, so that just, if you can pair it at times of the day when you're able to, even if it's just a little bit here and there, it does add up overall. Obviously, if it's like you don't wanna just watch a video and do the workout when you get home, then that's, either it's finding a different community. I know there's so many different workout apps and so many different workout videos out there that, if one you don't really like, or maybe like more of an in-person one, there's lots of different in-person ways you can go about it too. Any other questions? Any Zoom questions?
Nope, I don't see anything on Zoom.
None? Okay. All right, thank you all for attending, so hopefully you're all motivated to move a little bit more.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. So thank you all so much for coming. I didn't introduce myself in the beginning. I'm Emily. I'm the host for today. So if we don't have any other questions, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.